Netflix. But there is one event that takes, on average, 7 minutes to complete, yet we spend our entire lives avoiding it. What happens after death? Not the religious answer. Not the Hollywood version. The real one. See from brain surgeons, quantum physicists, and people who have died and come back. By the end of this video, you will never think of your last breath the same way again. Let's go. Minute 1. Your heart stops. Blood pressure hits 0. But your brain, it has no idea yet. For the first 10 seconds, your brain is still throwing a party. See neurons firing, memories pinging. Then, the coda hits 35 mmHg. That's when the panic mode begins. Your brain's TEM, the ancient lizard part of you, fires one last desperate command. Breathe. Damn you. Breathe. That's a go-na-el breathing. It looks like gasping. It sounds like a death rattle. By minute 3, the ATP, your cellular battery, is dead. Your cells can no longer pump calcium. The calcium floods in, and your muscles lock. Rigor mortis begins. But here's the strange part. The people who have been resuscitated after 3, 4, even 5 minutes, they don't remember pain. They remember peace. And one thing no one expects: accelerated time. 1 minute of dying can feel like an hour. Some researchers believe that's because your brain, starved of oxygen, begins to fire in hypersynchronized gamma waves. See the same pattern seen in deep meditation. Which brings us to the most controversial part of death: the life review. Dr. Sam Parney, AC Director of Critical Care at NYU Langone, studied over 2,000 cardiac arrest survivors. 22% of them reported a life review. Not in chronological order. Not like a movie. Parney's theory: the dying brain loses its ability to inhibit random neural firing. Normally, your brain organizes memories like a librarian. In death, that librarian quits. Memories flood in all at once. See from age 4 to age 40. But survivors describe something strange. They feel from the other person's perspective. One man, a former soldier, said he relived a moment where he was rude to a cashier at age 22. But this time, he felt the cashier's exhaustion. See her aching feet, her recent divorce, her loneliness. Neuroscience says, this is your mirror neuron system going haywire. But near-death experiencers say, this is judgment. Not by God. By you. The atheist neuroscientist and the Buddhist monk would disagree violently on what causes this. But they agree on one thing: the life review changes people permanently. 89% of near-death experiencers lose their fear of death. 60% become more empathetic. And 15% develop psychic abilities. Before you roll your eyes, let's look at the other 78%. See the people who experience nothing but darkness. Meet Kevin. Kevin had a heart attack at 44. He was dead for 4 minutes and 17 seconds. When they revived him, the first thing he said was not "I saw heaven," or "I saw my grandmother." He said, that was it. Just waiting. The void experience, as researchers call it, happens in about 17% of cardiac arrest survivors. No light. No tunnel. No deceased relatives. Just absence. Most people assume the void would be terrifying. But survivors describe it as neutral. Like waiting for a bus that never comes. Or the feeling just before you fall asleep. See, not asleep yet. Not awake. Just suspended. One woman said, "I wasn't sad. I wasn't happy. I just was." That's the terrifying part for some people. Not pain. Not fire. Just boredom. But here's where it gets weird. Some people who had the void experience later, see, weeks or months after revival, started having spontaneous memories of a tunnel, as if their brain was protecting them from something. Is the void a form of neurological shutdown before the brain releases DMT? Or is it a waiting room for a different destination? To answer that, we need to talk about the molecule that might be the bridge between life and death. DMT. In 1998, Dr. Rick Strassman, a clinical psychiatrist at the University of New Mexico, proposed a wild hypothesis. What if the human pineal gland produces DMT at the moment of death? DMT, for the uninitiated, is the most powerful psychedelic known to man. A 15-minute trip can feel like lifetimes. Users report contact with beings, alternate dimensions, and a feeling of home more real than real life. Sound familiar? Tunnel of light? Check. Beings of light? Check. Life review? Check. Here's the problem with Strassman's hypothesis. We have never proven that the human pineal gland produces DMT. We've found DMT in rat brains, in human lungs, in human urine, but not yet in the pineal gland of a dying human. But in 2019, Dr. Jimo Borjigan at the University of Michigan found something even stranger. She measured brain activity in dying rats. She found a massive spike in gamma waves, higher than any waking state. Those gamma waves are associated with consciousness, memory retrieval, and mystical experiences. So yes, something happens at death. Something profound. But is it real? Or is it just your brain's final fireworks show? To answer that, we have to leave biology behind and enter a place that scares scientists more than death itself. Quantum physics. Sir Roger Penrose, Nobel Prize-winning physicist, and Dr. Stuart Hameroff, an anesthesiologist, have a theory that will make your brain hurt. It's called orchestrated objective reduction, or ORCH. They propose that consciousness is not a product of neuron firing. It's a quantum process happening inside your brain's microtubules. If consciousness is quantum, then death doesn't end it. It just changes its state. Hameroff believes that at the moment of death, the quantum information in your microtubules isn't destroyed. It leaves your brain. And if you're resuscitated in time, it comes back. Where does it go? Hameroff says it could exist as a soul. Penrose, the atheist, says, let's not call it that. But here's the kicker. ORCH predicts that not everyone will experience the same afterlife, because not everyone's quantum information is equally coherent. In other words, how you live might determine what you experience when you die. Meditation, learning, love, these might strengthen your quantum coherence. And until they do, the door remains open for something science can't explain. Which brings us to the most chilling evidence of all. Children who remember past lives. Dr. Ian Stevenson spent 40 years at the University of Virginia collecting over 2,500 cases of children who claimed to remember past lives. His criteria were ruthless. He only accepted cases where the child started speaking about a past life before age 5, had unusual phobias matching that life, or had birthmarks matching wounds from the claimed past death. Case study: a boy in Lebanon. He claimed to be a man named Ahmed El-Awar who died in a car crash. The boy gave 57 specific details about Ahmad's life: see his job, his wife's name, the color of his car. When Stevenson tracked down Ahmad's widow, all 57 details were correct. In 40% of the cases, the child's birthmarks matched the fatal wounds of the deceased person, see in the exact same location. Stevenson didn't claim this proved reincarnation. He said, "The data is there. Interpret it how you will. If reincarnation is real, then death is not an end. It's a reassignment. But what if reincarnation isn't automatic? What if you have a choice? In Tibetan Buddhism, after death, you enter the bardo, a 49-day journey where you're confronted with peaceful and wrathful deities. And finally, the light. If you recognize the light as your own true nature, you achieve liberation. But if you're afraid, you run from the light, and you are reborn." Now compare that to modern near-death accounts. Over and over, experiencers describe being given a choice: go back to your body or stay here in the light. One woman, a hardened atheist, said, "I saw my grandmother. She showed me my son, see my living son, see, and I saw that if I stayed, he would spend his life in therapy. I chose to go back. Only 1 in 5 people see the light. The other 4 experience something else. A void, a review, or just nothing. Does that mean you did something wrong? According to the Bardo teachings, no. Nothing is also a valid experience. It means you're not ready to see the light yet. And that's okay. But why does it feel so different for everyone? The answer might be the most terrifying one of all. Because death doesn't just reveal who you are. It multiplies who you are. If you want to understand why death is not one experience, see, but infinite experiences, see, you need to understand the one idea that changes everything. But that's a 2-hour video by itself. And this channel only exists because people like you want the deep answers. So here's the deal. If you want to know what happens after death, see, not the fluff, not the fear, but the real cutting-edge theories, hit subscribe right now. Because when you die, see, and you will see you deserve to go in with your eyes open. Now, let's finish this. What if the afterlife is not a place? What if it's a filter? Dr. Eben Alexander argues that consciousness is fundamental. The brain is not the producer of consciousness. It's the reducer. If that's true, then what you experience after death is what you expect to experience, but amplified infinitely. That's not a joke. Several near-death experiencers have reported that their expectations shaped their experience. One woman, a devout Catholic, saw the Virgin Mary. When she asked Mary why she was there, Mary said, "I am what you needed to see." So which is it? Heaven? Reincarnation? Void? The most honest answer from the world's leading researchers is this: we don't know. But we know something happens. All of these theories could be true. Or see, and this is what I believe, see, all of them are partial truths. And death is the moment the partial becomes whole. You will die someday. Maybe today. Maybe in 60 years. But here's the secret that every near-death experiencer comes back with. Death is not the opposite of life. It's the opposite of birth. Life is the short story. Death is the infinite library. And you are the reader. See you on the other side. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, see you're one of the curious ones. Share this with someone who